Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. This is a fifth part for the Power Apps interview questions and answers. In this video, we are going to focus on delegation, patch function, and related syntax related questions that are being asked by the interviewers during the interview process. So let's get started. Question number 41. What is the delegation limit in Power Apps? So this is very commonly asked question when you are appearing as a Power Apps developer. Okay. So to answer the question, you can say by default, the Power App retrieves only 500 records. Okay. It retrieves only 500 records from a non-delegatable query, non-delegable query, and that can be increased up to 2000, that the maximum value can be having in as a non-delegated query is 2000 records that can be set from the app settings, but anything beyond that must be handled with delegation friendly formulas and data sources. So this is very important. Okay, so the maximum you can retrieve 2000 records. By default the value is 500, and you can make it up to 2000 from the app settings. Okay, question number 42. How do you know if a formula is not delegable? So a Power App will show a blue warning triangle, right? This is also one of the way to identify if this is a non-delegable thing or the formula is not delegable, with a message like the function might not work on large data sets. This means the data source cannot process the function server side. So this is how you will identify if the formula is delegable or not delegable. Question number 43. What are the functions which are not delegable to SharePoint? So sometimes an interviewer will ask, okay, I'm working in the SharePoint and I want to know which functions are not delegable for the SharePoint. So the length function, the mid function, sort by column with calculated columns. This is more important. The calculated columns and certain if or statements are not fully delegable to the SharePoint. Okay, the question number 44. How do you rewrite a non-delegable filter to make it delegable? So sometimes an interviewer asks this question to know your knowledge about handling the non-delegable function as a delegable function. For example, the filter for the SharePoint list is non-delegable function, but a search with the indexed column is delegable function. So instead of writing a filter, if you write it with search function, it will become a delegate function as the index columns in SharePoint are delegated. Okay. Question number 45. How can delegation issues affect app performance? So this question is being asked by the interviewer to know how you are handling or how much you are aware about the performance that can occur if the functions are non-delegable. Okay. So if a query is not delegable, the Power App pulls limited records locally, that is first thing, and applies filter there. So sometimes that happens, sometimes potentially missing results and slowing performance on larger data sets. So as we see in the previous slides, the maximum value for the non-delegable items or the non-delegable functions are 2000 records. So let's say our SharePoint list is having 5000 records, then 3000 records going to be missed and it is having the missing results. That's when someone is trying to pull the records from that. Okay. Question number 46. What is the syntax for creating a new record using a patch function? So, as an application developer or the Power App developer, a interviewer can also ask you to provide syntax. So this is one of the syntax for creating a new record using a patch function. You need to provide a data source name. Then if you're creating a new value, you have to use default with data source name or the data source into it. And this is your object which you are going to create, right? So field 1 is the value which you are going to pass into it. Field 2 is for the field 2, value 2 is the value that you are going to pass into it. This will add a new row to data source. Question number 47. What is the syntax for updating any of the existing record using the patch function? So when you want to update any of the record using the patch function, the only difference is the data source is there, but this value, this second parameter will be changed. So if you check the last slide, you have noticed that there is a value as default. So that means we want to create a new record, but if you want to update a record, we have to find that based on one of the conditions. For example, ID equal to record ID value. So it will get that particular record, and whatever value you are passing as in third parameter, those values are going to be updated into those columns. So it will updates only the specified fields for the matched record. So whatever values you provide into it, it is going to update only those records, and it will not update another fields. The next question, how can we use, or how do you use patch with forms? Submit form, edit form, new form, right? So by using this syntax of patch function, all the things are same. First, form name dot last submit, and form name dot updates. It is used for custom saving after a form submission or to update with modified values. So if you want to update the values of the form, we can use this patch function in this particular syntax. Question number 49. How can we patch a collection to a data source? So to patch a collection, we can use a for all loop, and this is the syntax for that. For all function, the name of the collection and the data source, like for example, SharePoint list or library, SharePoint list we want to patch. If we are creating a new value, then default data source, and these are the field values. Okay, and this is the way how we can go and update those values into our SharePoint site. Question number 50. What is the difference between submit form and patch? So the simple difference we can say is submit form is easier and works directly with edit forms. We can directly submit the data whatever there in the edit form, while a patch gives us more flexibility if you want to perform a partial update and advanced conditions. Based on the condition, if you want to update some of the data, then in that case we can use the patch function. But if you want to directly submit the edit form data, we can use the submit form. Okay, these 10 questions are complete in here, but wait, I have one more question for you as a bonus question with the how do you delete a record using Power Apps? So here is the syntax to remove or delete any of the. You can use this remove function with the name of the data source, and the same way we use the patch for identifying the item which we want to delete. The same way we have to identify which record we want to delete by using this record ID. Okay, so yes, that's it for this another part of Power Apps interview questions and answers. I hope you like this video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the notification whenever I am uploading a new video. And also let me know if you want to have more questions or particular questions to be answered from my side. I will try to definitely get them involved or incorporated into my next video. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.